Hi, and welcome back to Positive Pedro, round two. So, Nana, you mentioned you're in a new country now, in Canada, the land flowing with maple syrup. However, it was a brand new language. How long did it take to become adjusted to the the Canadian climate, and how did you meet Opapi?
Well, actually, we didn't pay too much attention as if we would adjust it or not. We had to work, and our main goal was to bring our parents out within a year. And we were sending money back each month, my sister Clara and myself, also from the very little what we earned, but half of them always went back. This was our main aim. And the year after, we were able to bring them out. The climate, yes, the climate was pretty cold, but we got used to it. I mean, Hungary was cold, but Hungary was dry cold.
Yeah.
Canada is cold, but very humid. I met Opapi in 1950, I think in October, when he came out.
And was it love at first sight, or did it take
I,
some
I
time to
wouldn't say
develop?
I wouldn't say love at first sight. It just built up even slowly.
Excellent. Nanu, now, a lot of us here in America think that such a thing could, never happen per se, or it just seems so foreign in that it kind of skipped a generation, if you will, and that your daughter and so, but my parents didn't have to go through what you went through. Now, do you think it's typically just looking at history, it does seem like goes in cycles, and there is some repetition. Do you think it's something that would be possible for Americans to see sometime in the next 10 to 20 years, if not sooner, where there would be an exodus of people leaving America to go to somewhere else based off of just a volatile climate?
Just because of the climate or because of the political situation?
A combination of political situation, living conditions, war. I guess my question is really, do you think that as someone my age, do you think I should think that that is not a possibility, or should I say yes, it is a possibility and take steps now to, uh, hedge against that possibility? For example, I've applied for my Canadian citizenship, which I'm doing to hedge, just in case, learning from you that you never know what can happen, and it seems like it's better to be prepared than not.
Well, you didn't lost anything that you applied for your Canadian citizenship. It's a good thing to think ahead. I hope it would never happen that you would have to leave your country. Actually, it was a completely different situation because we were in a war and we were very scared and we didn't want to stay. Now, for instance, where would you go? How would we know that in Canada wouldn't be the same situation?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there as uh,
It's hard to give any advice that what should you do. Um, I think that probably if there would be a change with the election, maybe things will change economically, politically. It's hard to believe. I hard to say anything because for instance, in our case, in 1944, nobody really seriously were thinking about to leave the country because they always thought that the war will, I mean, end
Right.
with a
People were
good
thinking
result.
positively.
The people were thinking positively, and because the Germans were saying that they are bringing in the so-called magic um, guns or something like this. It's a super something this.
Right.
And then this, I don't know how it didn't happen. So the people believed that it will turn out something good. But just by the end, it started to be questionable.
Right.
However, I had a very smart great grandmother, and he didn't believe this, we will win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my father was very, very, very. But he thought this. Oh yeah, the Germans will win. But it's still, even the months before, we didn't start to pack. It's maybe just 2 days before.
Wow.
I enrolled at school. We enrolled, but so many in our class, the boys, they went to the war. Young boys.
Mm.
And so many did just volunteer basis, and so many didn't come back. It was a class where there were 27 boys, and we were only 3 girls there.
Mm. Nanu, anything you want to add before we wrap up? Thank you so much for adding everything that you have, and that was very insightful hearing a little bit of the history, and hopefully, this will be around for a long, long time, that family members can at least get a glimpse of just a portion of your life, and the part specifically of coming from Hungary to here. Maybe if you wouldn't mind, if you want to just touch on maybe a Hungarian custom that you cherish.
Hungarians loved, appreciated, respected their country very much. The patriotic feeling was instilled in every young person, and I guess it wouldn't hurt nowadays for the American young ones also to respect more their countries.
Nanu, is there a favorite food from Hungary that you prefer?
Well, I like the stuffed cabbage,
And what about the stuffed cabbage
paprika, jerk.
gets the saliva going? The
Well,
maybe.
because they make it with the sauerkraut, real kraut also, and then some sausages and ground. Well, they used ground pork, not turkey. I'm using turkey.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also looking back, because it's been quite a journey. No pun intended. Coming from Hungary to all the way to Irvine, not a bad spot, right? Any highlights, in the next 50 years or so, where you'd say, wow, that was really really quite an experience, or quite a fun year, or anything else you'd want to add?
Well, it was certainly a highlight when I met Opapi in Canada, and he was also from Hungary, the northeast part of Hungary, and I was from the southwest.
Mm. Just
And
a
then
perfect blend.
and then also it was a really big happiness when we were able to bring our parents out, and they were out in 50 in March.
Hmm.
And how happy we were just to try to furnish the place.
Mm.
And because then I worked in a hospital, and then some of my patients were were so kind, and they brought me tea kettle and coffee pot, and they were not new, or
Right.
some plates, but I really cherish it, and that was really nice. And then when we started to have family, and then grandchildren and great grandchildren, and that was great.
Yeah, and then Thanksgivings at we've had quite a few rambunctious Thanksgivings. Well, Nanu, it was definitely a pleasure to have you on the air, and also quite fun. I think I should add, doing a little bit of college down at Concordia University in Irvine, where I was able to come by and hang out and do a little internet. And I just remember eating those huge bowls of like muesli cereals with peanut butter and berries and lots of milk, and it was like a big
That's
bowl
right.
like this
Yeah.
big. So yeah, so good times nonetheless, and thank you again for all our listeners checking in. Hopefully we will come back with another edition of Köszönöm
Yes, thank
szépen,
you very much.
szívesen jel.
Köszönöm.
All right, thanks again.